Hey everyone, remember the Bowoto versus Chevron case that one of our writers, Robin Belker, had covered, and then I picked up Belker's mantle and continued forward with it? Well, it's back. But for those of you who are saying, okay, well, what was it to begin with? It was this. In 1998, a organization called the Elagi Group of Concerned Citizens, or named to that effect, boarded, without permission, a Chevron oil refinery and staged what they called a peaceful protest because they wanted jobs. Now, in the process, they were escorted off the facility and asked not to return. They tried to return and did so by force. Force being they got on the facility without being asked and they never left. And in the process of trying to argue to stay and get what they wanted, they encouraged Chevron by their actions to call the Nigerian military police, which in the act of trying to get this group to get off the facility caused a number of injuries and I believe one death. The plaintiffs, Larry Bowoto and his friends and family, have tried for years to bring their human rights violation claim against Chevron to a court. They finally succeeded in bringing it to court in America under something called the Alien Tort Act. And that is, if you have a business and you're acting in the process of commerce in, say, Yugoslavia, if you're responsible for violating someone's human rights in American terms, under American law in that country, the persons over there can bring you to trial over here in America. That is what happened, and that is what led to the case of Bowoto versus Chevron, which was held from October 25th and it ended December 1st at 2:30 last year. The verdict was that Chevron was not guilty of violating the human rights of Larry Bowoto and his people. The persons, Larry Bowoto, the plaintiffs, had said they would file an appeal on the basis that their attorneys did not believe the jury understood the gravity of the Alien Tort Statute. That is, they believe that, at the very least, Chevron violated the human rights of Larry Bowoto and his people. Now, here's the problem. Let's say you have a house, you're doing fairly well. You are self-employed or you have a business you operate out of your house. Someone who's very poor is under the impression that you can hire them or give them money. So instead of knocking on your door, they come into your side window with a lug wrench and plead with you to help them. In the process of your conversation with them, you manage to call the police, who, after they arrive and in a scuffle with the intruder, injure that person or persons and accidentally kill one of them. Now, instead of suing the police for brutality, they sue you for a violation of their human rights, even though they entered your premises without your permission. That is the essence of the case of Bowoto versus Chevron. Now, if you think about that structure, it's very difficult for Larry Bowoto and his people to argue that Chevron violated their human rights when they gave Chevron cause to fear harm from them. Chevron claims that Bowoto's people were trying to kidnap Chevron employees and extort them for money. And if you look at it just blankly, that's kind of what it seems like. It seems like the extortion has changed from what originally happened to one using the American legal system, or at least trying to. So on February 6th, which is, I believe, next week, what will happen, that's Friday of next week, in fact, this is all coming back to Judge Susan Ilson's court, U.S. District Court of Northern California, San Francisco, where they will request, they being the plaintiffs, Larry Bowoto and his people and his attorneys, request a new trial. Stay tuned.